The Puck Portfolio with Andy MacNeil.
Hey, welcome to the Puck Portfolio. I'm Andy MacNeil, your host. I'm here on weekdays to provide NHL picks and projections, betting advice, strategies, you name it, to help you make informed bets throughout the NHL season. Help you make a couple of informed losers on Tuesday. The Nashville Predators couldn't hold on to their lead and eventually lost to the New Jersey Devils, who looked pretty good last night for the third game in a row. And the St. Louis Blues, of course, did not get the job done against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They even got some help there after the fact with Mitch Marner and John Tavares out of the lineup due to an illness on top of Morgan Riley. But the Leafs played a great game. St. Louis did not look the part on Tuesday night. So yeah, about minus 1.7 units on Tuesday, but that's okay. Cut into the February profits a little bit, cut into the overall profits, but no biggie. We will continue on. A little bit of setbacks. I've got to actually go back and I know I haven't done a great job of updating the record each week. I mean, I'm up. It's being tracked. I'm just so big on zooming out and not really like worrying about things, and we've been winning like most. It's not like there's been a bunch of losing days. So I'm gonna get that together and either touch on that on tomorrow or Friday's show, or maybe not until Monday, as I've got my plate full that Jake's leaving me high and dry here. Jake, before we get into the plays, how surprised were you to see the Montreal Canadiens look like, I mean, gangbusters on on Tuesday? They just trounced the Ducks, absolutely dominated them. Not only 5-0 on the score sheet, but they dominated the shot clock as well, and that's not something you see out of the Canadiens very often.
No, it's not. I honestly can't remember the last time they had that much of a lopsided shot win against another team. It's not a great result for the fans out there who want to.
Enjoy the win, god damn it.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of people out there who just can't enjoy the win because they're like, oh no, it screws up the tank. And of course, the Ducks are kind of a team that you're competing in with the tank. But yeah, I think the biggest takeaway is that first line of Nick Suzuki, Uri Slafkovsky, and Cole Caulfield looks to be a line that's going to be together for a really long time, and they're playing great hockey right now. It was Slafkovsky's first career 3-point game. He had more points last night than Jesperi Kotkaniemi has had since November, so that that makes Canadians fans a little happy because the bad blood with Kotkaniemi is still there. But yeah, unexpected win, but more positive signs for that first line.
For sure, for sure. Well, let's get into the projections for Thursday or Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, because there's only one game on Friday. So I threw it in there. Maybe give you guys an opportunity if you see something when the lines open up. With the Carolina Hurricanes, the model says they should be a minus 223 favorite. Coyotes kind of down in the dumps right now, and the Hurricanes playing very well. So something to look ahead there too. But as far as Wednesday goes, I'm going to circle back to that in a little bit. Just 3 games on the docket for Wednesday. Might have some interest in one of them. But I've got some interest in a couple of games for Thursday. And I think, as we know, it's important to get down on games as early as possible. It gives you the best chance to get the best line. And so I think the possible Wednesday pick can wait for now. But the Edmonton Oilers at the St. Louis Blues. I'm not against betting on the St. Louis Blues, obviously, but I'm looking to, back them in situations where I think that they might be a little bit undervalued. I don't think this is one of them. They've been a good home team, but the Edmonton Oilers are 12-3 in their last 15 games on the road. The model says they should win this game more than 65% of the time. So the Oilers should be priced around minus 189, and they are currently priced at minus 156 at NorthStar Bets, which, I mean, if you've been following along and looking at the Oilers prices on a game to game basis, this one doesn't really add up. It should be closer to minus 189 according to the model. So there's a bit of room here. I think I like the Oilers, up to minus 165. That's where I'd cut it off for a 1-unit play. You could, make a smaller bet on the Oilers at a bigger price, but I would be scaling my unit size down in proportion to the odds, right? So at minus 156, which is kind of a ridiculous price. I'm gonna reach a little bit here and just risk a flat 2 unit sum on the Oilers to win 1.28 units. So yeah, a little bit of a bigger bet here because I think this price is just out of whack and yeah, it shouldn't exist really. So let's do something about that, shall we? And the other bet that I like for Thursday is yeah, I'm doing it again. I'm fading the Toronto Maple Leafs. Of course, we don't know if Mitch Marner and John Tavares will be back in the lineup. I would expect them to be back. No, Morgan Riley is not going to be out, or is going to be out. Sorry. And the Flyers, after losing 5 games in a row, they've strung together 4 straight wins. Toronto's got more firepower, obviously, and the shot clock has been really tilted in the Maple Leafs' favor. But the Flyers actually have a better shot share on the season in the recent month. And I think that might be a shock to Toronto's system. I mean, they're not going to be able to just roll over the Flyers, or at least they shouldn't be able to. This should probably be a pretty evenly matched game in terms of shots for and against and whatnot. And the Leafs blue line is in rough shape with Riley out. The Flyers, they've found ways to beat teams like the Panthers and the Jets recently on this 4-game winning streak, and those teams are both better than Toronto on defense and in goal. So I like the Flyers here at plus 135. Not a big bet. It's a half size bet for me on the Philadelphia Flyers to beat the Maple Leafs on Thursday. So I'm going to lock that in right now. And yeah, like I said, half unit play on the Flyers. I think they've got what it takes to beat the Maple Leafs. And hopefully they'll get the job done. So yeah, those are the two bets that I really like. Early bets that I really like for Thursday's NHL action. Some lopsided games on the docket for Thursday. Um, some lopsided, or at least one big, really lopsided game on the docket for Wednesday with the Winnipeg Jets in hosting the San Jose Sharks. They are currently north of minus 400, so at NorthStar minus 435, and that's I believe pretty much where I've got them. So. Of course, this show is sponsored by NorthStar Bets. Check them out via the link in the description below. We'll be using their odds on the show. They're one of the few books that offer early NHL odds on the next day's games at this time. So great to try to get down on some of those numbers. Um, and but we can look at Wednesday quickly here. So the Florida Panthers. Somebody asked me, Connor actually DM me yesterday and asked what I thought of the Panthers. He liked the Panthers opening up at a short minus 115 price. I said, not enough for me. Would like it a little bit lower. That's because the Panthers, according to the model, are a minus 119 favorite, 54.2% chance of winning. So yeah, I was looking for closer to minus 110 in that range, and doesn't look like I'm going to get that. The Panthers are now what, minus 125, minus 130, minus 125. NorthStar Bets actually has a relatively good price if you're looking at the rest of the market. Pinnacle Sports up to minus 131, so that minus 125 at NorthStar Bets might be attractive. Not attractive to me, but yeah, Connor, you're a sharp guy. You saw this line move uh better than I did. So yeah, no, I don't think there's a spot here to bet against the Penguins. Um, but I am going to consider here, just going to kind of survey the market here and look at the Minnesota Wild. Um, Looks like minus 120 seems to be the most widely available price. There is some minus 125 out there, minus 122 at NorthStar Bets. The Coyotes, I just don't think they've been, I think they've really tailed off, and Minnesota should be a minus 131 favorite according to the model, 56.6% chance of winning. This one is one where, just kind of arbitrarily, I don't like it because that everybody's going to look at the Wild today and say, oh, they're the only, it's the Wild or the Panthers, right? Because they're the short favorites on the board. Um, Is it a trap? No, just kidding. No such thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, Arizona, 24th in the NHL in expected goals percentage. They have been even worse as of late, like I expected. So over the last month, they are at 44% in expected goal share. That's good for 28th in the NHL, and they've scored just 42.3% of the goals. That puts them in a category with teams like the Ducks and the Blue Jackets and the Capitals and the Kraken, right? So I mean, I think we thought that this Coyotes team was more like maybe like a Nashville or a Philadelphia, maybe like a Calgary, but they're more like a bottom feeder at this point. So um, yeah, screw it, let's lock it in. Minnesota Wild. This is going to be. Um, I'm going to lock this in to win 0.75 units at minus 122. The current odds at NorthStar Bets. So that is yeah, roughly 0.915 units to win 0.75 units. So that's my bet for Wednesday. You got 2 bets for Thursday. That's it as far as the bets go. So yeah, I mean, let's talk. I know it's Valentine's Day. Good time to get connected, feel the love in the air. Let's talk a little bit about the Florida Panthers because they are in action again on Thursday. They're in Buffalo. Buffalo, big win over the LA Kings on Tuesday, 7-0. Florida, they've won 3 out of 4 times on the second half of a back-to-back this season, but the Panthers, they've been in this situation on the road 12 times since the start of last season, and they've only won 4 of those games. So Buffalo's actually been pretty good with a rest advantage in this situation since the start of last season. They've won 16 of 20 home games in which they've had the rest advantage over the road team. The Sabres are 9-3 as the home team against teams in the second half of a back-to-back over the last 2 seasons. They're 3-0 this season with wins over the Islanders, Wild, and the Blue Jackets. Not the stiffest competition, but Buffalo has been a tough place to play for tired teams. They've got a winning record too, like I kind of talked about yesterday, 6-5 in the second half of the season. But look, consider the Sabres' schedule here. The Sabres, they beat Ottawa, the Chicago Blackhawks. They've got 2 wins over the Sharks. So yeah, the Ottawa Senators, like they just got a win over the Senators as the Sens were kind of starting to find their legs as they have, going 6-1-1 in their last 8 games. And then they've got 3, a few wins over teams like the Blackhawks and the Sharks. They lost to the Ducks. They dropped games to the Blues, Lightning, Stars, and Canucks. And yeah, they beat the struggling Kings twice during this stretch. But look, they've yet to string any wins together over good teams, just a mix of bad and mediocre teams. So yeah, Tuesday's win was a statement, 7-0 over a good Kings team, regardless of whether they're struggling or not. But I'm going to need to see them do it against some good teams over a stretch here before I'm going to really be where the market is on this team. I really don't think there's a lot of difference between how the Blues have been playing, and kind of outperforming their expectations, expected goals, etc., and the Sabres. So they're getting carried by their goaltending in a lot of ways right now. UPL has been absolutely great during this stretch, and I mean, I think he's a good goalie, but can they keep it up with Owen Power out of the lineup, with Matthias Samuelsson done for the year? I don't know. It's a tough one. So yeah, I kind of beware of the Sabres. I think I've got Florida as a minus 153 favorite. We know Sergei Bobrovsky is going to be in goal on Wednesday here against Pittsburgh, so it'll be Anthony Stolarz in goal in all likelihood against the Sabres. So that is a little bit of a reason why I don't have the Florida Panthers as a bigger favorite, but I mean, if this one comes down, the Panthers are opened up. They opened up at minus 149, I believe, at NorthStar Bets. Just going to double check that right now. And where are we at here? Okay, yeah. So minus 147. DraftKings opening up at minus 142. I don't have access to that sports book. And if I did, I would lay the minus 142. So wouldn't I don't think it would be a full unit play. Probably be like something like a three-quarter unit play, but yeah, feel free if you want. If I can get a minus 140 or something around there, I'll be taking the Panthers as a favorite um, on Thursday to beat the Sabres. So yeah, a little bit of a look ahead there. Um, that's a what, an 11 cent edge, not teabaggy. Um, anyway, yeah. So that's one I've got interest in. We'll see if some more sports books open up here in the run of this show. And the Pittsburgh Penguins, they're obviously playing the Florida Panthers tonight. They're in Pittsburgh playing the Florida Panthers. They are traveling to Chicago to play the Blackhawks on Thursday. So second half of a back-to-back for the Penguins as well. They are 2-8 as the road team in the second half of a back-to-back since the start of the 2022-23 season. And Chicago's actually gone 7-6 when they've had the rest advantage as the home team since the start of last season. They've gone 4-5 as the home team in this situation so far in 23-24, meaning when they've played have almost gone 500. So they've been a different kind of bad though since Connor Bedard was injured back on January 5th. They've gone 3-11 since then. He's not expected back until next week. So yeah, I wouldn't be betting on the Penguins here. But yeah, I kind of would probably caution against, over overreaching on the Penguins for sure, because they've got a win over the Blackhawks have a win over the Penguins. Man, did they have two wins over the Penguins? I can't remember. But yeah, North Star Bets opening up minus 213 on the side of the Penguins. And yeah, that is I think a mostly fair price. So no interest there, but just kind of wanted to point out Pittsburgh's struggles on the second half of a back to back. And yeah, we talked a little bit about the Anaheim Ducks and how bad they were on Tuesday against the Montreal Canadiens, and they're in action against the Ottawa Senators on Thursdays. And like clearly, the Ducks, they don't generate a lot of shots; they give up a bunch. And even the Habs were able to cave them in on Tuesday, and the Canadians they don't outshoot anybody. They outshot the Ducks 38-13. Of course, they won 5-0. Ottawa ranks among the top 5 teams in shots over the last month and top 10 overall this season. So stylistically, this is a pretty bad matchup for Anaheim, and I could see them getting routed in this one. But the odds are pretty close to my projection here, as I've got the Sens as a minus 195 favorite, and North Star Bets open up at minus 185. So a little bit of value, but I'd be looking for more generous price there on that one before I want to lay the big favorite with the Senators. And finally, before we get into some chatter, I guess I think we've got to talk about the Islanders. We've been talking about them a lot, but look, there's no new coach bump for this team. The Islanders, they're now 3-5 straight up under Patrick Waugh. They've lost 2-1 in a shootout to Seattle on Tuesday. It was the 5th time in 8 games with Waugh behind the bench that the Islanders were served up an opponent playing the second half of a back to back, and yeah, they haven't been able to make good on this situation. Their last 8 games, pretty favorable schedule, some tough opponents, but like I said, they were tired. They played most of those games, 6 out of 8 games at home. And yeah, Jake was gonna hope to clip this part, but I'm totally fucking it up, so we'll do it later. But yeah, they've been served up some easy teams here, and they've only scored more than 3 goals in one game out of 8 so far under Patrick Waugh. 6 of those games are at home. Like I said, this is not a good look because their next 8 games are going to get a lot tougher. The Islanders are going to play the Rangers on Sunday, of course, the Stadium Series at MetLife Stadium. Then they'll play the Penguins, the Blues twice, Tampa Bay, Detroit, Dallas, and Boston. And when you compare how the Islanders are playing to how a team like New Jersey is playing now that Jack Hughes is back in the lineup, or even Pittsburgh, who we talked about a little bit, I think it should be easy to understand why those teams' playoff chances are twice as good as the Islanders right now, even though the latter seems to be in the thick of things, right? Pittsburgh, they're 4 points back, but they've also got 4 games in hand, so they can make up a lot of ground here over the next 2 days against the Panthers and the Blackhawks if they can pick up some points. And the Devils, they're a point ahead of the Islanders, and they also got a game in hand. So things are about to turn pretty sour here for this New York Islanders team. And I think that anybody who was hoping for that new coach bump, you can set sail to that idea because it's not happening, guys. This team is they've trailed after the first period in 5 of these 8 games, and 4 of those games they trailed after the second period. It's just, this is not a good hockey team. They are a 3-2 hockey team in a league that is no longer a 3-2 league, and it's just you're gonna watch down the stretch. This team is just going to be kind of like an endless lottery of coin flips, right? Like it's just, do they win 3-2? Do they lose 3-2? That's what you're asking yourself with the New York Islanders, seemingly every single night. And yeah, I just don't know why people were betting on them again yesterday. I know Seattle looked terrible against New Jersey, but why are you betting on the Islanders as a big home favorite, given how they performed this season in these spots? There's just not a lot of love here for this Islanders team, and there just shouldn't be a lot of love here for this Islanders team in the betting market. You don't have to make a bet, guys. You really don't. And Seattle actually outplayed the Islanders in that game, which is really surprising because, like I said, they looked terrible versus New Jersey the night before. They were playing their second game in as many nights, and they tilted the ice in their direction. The Islanders look bad. So, yeah, I don't think this is going to turn around for this team. And I won't be betting on them, especially in these spots, unless there's a big shift in the way that the market perceives this team. So, yeah, just put a fork in the Islanders, cross them out. Don't be laying the favorite on this team. Maybe take them as an underdog if the situation calls for it. But they just don't have the chops offensively, and yeah, they're just not dominant enough in any area, and it's very unlikely that anything is going to change there. So drop a like on the video if you have not already. Would really appreciate that. And subscribe to the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel, of course. Oh, we started a little bit late. I was wondering, like, why is it so late? I haven't been talking for 30 minutes, have I? But almost. Still with me, Jake? You fall asleep, buddy?
No, I'm here. I'm here.
All right. I guess I should be looking at the chat here. See what we've got, if we've got any conversation happening. Okay. You can get Florida at plus 125 if you use the Jets as a juice reducer. That's not how it works, Insight. What? You're talking about a parlay? Like, that's not what what? Never heard that. Juice reducer.
Sounds like something you'd get on
You know,
the shopping channel or something.
absolutely. There's juice on both sides, right? Not just the vig is distributed. I never heard juice reducer. No, I've never heard juice reducer. But then again, me and you have never had a beer. So maybe someday I'll be introduced to all these terms. But no, juice reducer. Kind of like saying it. Maybe I'll start saying it. even though I don't know the context or what it means. But the Isles should trade Varley to the Devils. Yeah, I mean, the Preds should trade Saros to the Devils. Maybe they talked about it last night, but I feel like Saros's name is getting tossed out there again. I feel like is are you going to get a discount on him? Like he's had a down year relative to other seasons, but I would take the gamble on UC Saros. I know he's one of the few goalies under 6 feet, or is he under 6 feet, or is he just 6 feet? I think he's 5'11". One of the few goalies left, and he's a pretty good one. Um, don't get me aroused like this early, Andy. Buy me a drink and dinner first. How about we just, acquire UC Saros? That's, I'd like to see that. I could get behind the Devils a lot if they had a goalie like UC Saros. The Devils, they've looked the part the last few games. Kind of a weird one versus Calgary when Hughes returned to the lineup. But they've looked really good over the last few games, and I mean, their offense isn't really matching expectations either. They've been generating a ton of expected goals. Um, and yeah, they are generating a ton of extra goal or expected goals, but not generating anywhere close to what they should be given the model output there. But they've been getting pretty good saves from their goaltenders the last few games, and is that going to continue? Probably not. I don't know. Like I just can't. I'm not going to get to the point where I'm going to be like confident in the Devils to get back to that kind of the defense that they were playing last season. Um, I think there's going to be times where they have runs like this, but I wouldn't get my hopes up too much right now, and I'd probably like to see you're my Valentine, Connor. That's what he's saying. Um, yeah, I'd probably like to see them get a goalie. Otherwise, I really don't. I mean, what are we doing here, right? Like, are we just wasting everybody's time if the Devils squeeze into the playoffs with Vitek Vanacek and Nico Daz and Akir Schmid as their three-headed monster? Yeah, probably. I know that Schmid really, really surprised people in last year's playoffs, but you'd be asking a lot out of that guy to do it again. So that's a tough one. I did want to talk about McDavid. Like, I mean, 6 assists on Tuesday. And he is plus 300 right now at NorthStar Bets to win the Hart Trophy, the MVP. I saw some other sports books. Actually, I'm just going to check another one. I know FanDuel has it down at plus 230 now. Where's DraftKings at? DraftKings is at plus 350. So I'm just looking at this though, and I'm thinking, right, like the Avs have cooled. I know they won big last night over the Washington Capitals, but they've cooled off, and I don't think it's I wouldn't be surprised if they sort of fell into more into the middle of the pack um, down the stretch here in the Central Division. Not that I think they'll miss the playoffs or anything like that. They're going to be in the playoffs, but I mean, like, um, it wouldn't surprise me if Colorado was overtaken by, like, they've been overtaken by the Stars. Stars have a 2-point lead right now. They've got a game in hand. The Jets have 4 games in hand on the Avalanche right now. They've got 50 games played. The Avs have 54 games played. So when you think about it, like, the Jets realistically should get an easy win tonight against the San Jose Sharks. So that brings them up to 69 points with 3 games in hand. It's that's a 1-point lead and a 3-game advantage. So could easily see a situation here where this time next week we're looking at the Avs as the third best team in the Central Division, at least according to the standings. So I think if something like that, and they kind of fall into the into the mushy middle there, that'll probably sway some voters. And the Oilers, I mean, they're chugging along. I don't think they're gonna catch the Canucks by any means, and I don't even know if they'll catch the Vegas Golden Knights. Although they do have 4 games in hand, and they are just 5 points back of Vegas, but it's possible. So, um, I think given the season, the start to the season, and what McDavid has been doing, um, man, maybe this is the time to like consider like, okay, is every book going to move to around 2-1 over the next little bit here, or um, you know, does McKinnon deserve to be, and not discounting what Nikita Kucherov or Austin Matthews or David Pastrnak has done or anything like that. But McKinnon minus 105 right now at DraftKings, minus 115 at NorthStar Bets. Like, does he deserve to be the odds-on favorite? I don't know. I don't know. Bunch of dumbasses will vote on this award, so you never know what they're gonna think. I'm just kidding. Not a bunch of dumbasses. Nice people, I'm sure. Um, yeah, first round exit for the Devils if they don't get a goalie, no doubt. Um, yeah, pretty much. I think that's pretty much it for today. Going to be looking ahead to, obviously we'll be back on Friday with a big look ahead to Saturday. Weird scheduling here by the NHL. I don't know why they schedule just one game on Friday, and I think just 3 games on uh on Sunday. Weird, because the NBA All-Star football's done. The NBA All-Star game is this weekend, I believe. So really not a lot of competition. I think people will be looking for real sports to watch and bet on. So yeah, kind of a, I think, missed opportunity by the NHL. Caesars opened DK opened Philly plus 145. Yeah, that's a good price. And I would not be surprised. All right, one sec. Okay. DK opened at Philly plus 145. I wouldn't be surprised if some other books opened up in that spot either. At that price, to be closer to a 1 unit play, and if I can get those odds, I'll certainly make that play. As far as, I mean, what are okay? So I think if you parlay, like, I feel like your insight, you're saying if I think the Jets lose. No, I think they win roughly 82% of the. Do you think they win 100% of the time tonight? If that's the case, then, like, I mean, we're kind of talking about two different things, because you're never going to get me there, right? So I know I don't think the Jets will lose, but multiply 82.3% by 54.2%, and you get 44.6%. So those are your odds of winning that parlay. I mean, it's, so when you say, what is it? What do you say? You said plus 120, plus 125. That's what the parlay is. That's what the parlay is. So, I mean, that's a, what, point, yeah, 0.2% edge. Like, I don't know. That's just I think it's a minus EV play. I think it's a bet that will, yeah, if you bet it last night. So what are you talking about then? It's not available anymore. Anyway, thanks for joining the show. Appreciate you insight, even if you confused the hell out of me today. But appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you, Connor, of course. You guys always making the chat very entertaining. And I appreciate everybody else that watches the show. So yeah, if you haven't had a chance to watch the whole thing, my picks for Wednesday and Thursday, I've got the Wild at -122 to win 3/4 of a unit, so 0.75 units. I've got the Edmonton Oilers at -156. That is a 2-unit bet, just a flat 2-unit bet to win 1.28 units, I believe. And I like the Oilers as a 1-unit play up to -165. I think that line should be, around -189, -190 ish. And I also like the Flyers. As Connor said, they are opening up as an even bigger underdog at some books. But as far as the cutoff, half unit play at +135. As the odds go up, you can get +145 or something like that. Well, looking at, more like a unit play at that point. But yeah, appreciate you watching, tuning in. Remember, the show is also available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Podbean, so you can listen in audio form if you'd like. You don't have to look at my ugly mug if you don't want to. And yeah, but we appreciate you tuning in on the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel. Hit that like button, hit subscribe if you have not already. Helps out a ton. And we'll see you tomorrow for some more hockey talks. So yeah, take care and good luck with your bets.